All right, we'd like to welcome you to our quick overview of our new features and upgrades that you may or may have not have noticed on the site. We're going to be covering these upgrades in detail over the next couple weeks, but for today we at least wanted to help you navigate and see where a few things have moved to and also show you a few new features that we have available for you to help your employees train more effectively and customize your trainings even more. Now, when you first log in, you will see a new change, and that is the first screen you'll come to, you'll see My Accounts on the left, and then My Offices on the right. If you just have one office, you'll just see that specific office, but if you have multiple offices, then you'll see your list of offices there on the right. Under the My Accounts link here, this is where some of the major changes have occurred. We now have given you the capability to customize your trainings slide by slide, and you can also add new slides, add content, add quizzes, etc. And we're going to cover how to create those new modules and add content and remove content in more detail in a future tutorial. But very briefly, I'll show you a few new features. In the past, when we used the surveys for you to fill out, we have gone away from the surveys and actually have created a setup wizard. So if you see a red link that says setup, you can click on that red link and it will bring up the actual slide and it'll ask you a question and you can just put in the response that you'd like to put in for that specific required question. Whatever you put in, we'll just say 10 cents a page. So when you save that, over here on the left you have a slide preview and you can preview how that looks. If it looks okay, you then can go ahead and move on to the next question. You also have options up here. If the question doesn't apply to your practice or maybe the information is irrelevant, you can click Hide Slide. Now by hiding a slide, it does say that this will disable updates. So if we ever update any information here, you obviously won't be getting that updated information. So you'll be responsible for maintaining the content for your practice with regard to that. But if there's a slide that doesn't apply to your practice, you can simply click Hide Slide and then save the information. When you click on the actual training, if you click on the training course, you'll actually see each individual slide. So as you go down here and as you scroll to the very bottom, you'll see that there is a legend, and the legend shows you that for all slides that have a red box, those are required, requires additional content. If there's a gray box, then we have recommendations that we'd like you to add content. If it's got the green check mark, then you've completed it. And if it's got a blue N, then that means that's a new slide that you've added. And if it's got a gray H, then that means you've hidden. So you've hidden that specific slide. Again, this is just a way we're going to cover this in more detail in the future, but you can have a lot more flexibility and a lot more functionality in customizing your individual training courses. You can import your own pictures for each slide. You even can embed video if you have video content. So there's a lot more extensive functionality on the creation of the training courses. You also have the capability to import your own logo now. Up in the top left, you'll see the HCP logo, but if you want to import your own practice logo, you can just follow the instructions on the logo tab and then just download the file. It's usually in a JPEG format or a PNG format, but then you can go ahead and upload that and you'll view it and your logo will appear on every page when your employees log in. With the Forms tab, you now have access to import your own forms. This gives you the opportunity to import your own compliance forms, or if you have miscellaneous forms that you'd like to supplement our already existing compliance forms, you can just click on Create New Form, enter in the title, and follow the instructions on how to import that form and add a subsection for any instructions for your employees. In the past, you have had the capability to transfer users. However, we have moved that to the account level. So if you ever need to transfer an employee from one office to the other, if you have multiple offices, you simply click the Transfer Users tab, find the employee, they're listed alphabetically, and then you can see the offices, and if you need to just move them, you can say that they're, let's say that we want to just have them in the third office here, then we can do that. If we want to move them back, we can just select the access level. Maybe they're a supervisor in another office, and then you can save the changes, and that will transfer the user along with their data. Again, you'll see an Add New Module tab here. If you do have a request or want to add additional courses, you can always contact us, or you can type in a description of that course you'd like and submit it to us, and then we can create just a blank template for you, and you can then just be able to come in here to the module, click on Add New Slide, and you can start to create your own training courses. And we'll be covering that again, as I mentioned, in future tutorials. To get back to your offices, up in the top right corner, you'll see where it says Offices, and then you can go ahead and select the office that you'd like to look at. This screen should look more familiar to you now. Again, as we did the module setup at the account level, your individual offices can do additional setup. So you have two tiers of where you can customize these trainings for the entire account, and then also for the individual offices, just depending on your needs. One feature we have changed its location is the OSHA Hazard Risk Assessment. In the past, that was in the surveys for the OSHA module. That is now moved to its own section here under the Risk Analysis subcategory. You can just put in OSHA Hazard Risk Assessment. And we have now got a more in-depth risk assessment for the OSHA, your hazardous risks. You can just follow these instructions, and again, we're going to go into more detail in a specific tutorial just on this risk assessment and how to customize it to your practice. On the Employees tab, one big change on the Employees tab here is on the filter bar. You now have the capability to filter by specific training course, and that will then just show that training course. You can then filter and show just the employees that have completed it, or if you wanted to just see those that need it and then send them out a reminder, you can do that. This minus sign here that turns to an add sign. That is if you want to add or remove a training from a specific employee. So if you see the minus, that means remove. If you see the plus, that means go ahead and add it. That will add that course to that employee. If you want to get additional information on the employee, you can click on their name, and then again from here you'll be able to see the training courses they've completed, their certificates if they have completed them, and the one big change here is on the add and remove. You have the plus and the minus feature here, so as you hit the minus it will remove them, the plus will add the trainings back for that employee. On the Forms tab, again, just like you can import your own forms now, you can import those forms to our compliance categories. So if you have your own HIPAA privacy forms, you can import them into that category for your account. Or you'll notice you do have a new category titled My Forms. So if you click on the My Forms category, this is where you could house all of the forms you import, or just the miscellaneous forms that maybe don't fall under one of these specific categories. So you do have your own form section for your office, and those forms can be imported for the entire account for all offices to view, or they can be specific just to that office. We are going to be updating our FAQs section, how-to videos. These will be updated obviously so that they have all of the new information and upgrades. So be watching for those. But again, we will be following this overview up with a series of tutorials that we want to get out to you to hopefully answer any questions you have and make sure that you're taking full advantage of all the features you have. If you've not quite set up your office yet, or you're still going through those setups for the specific compliance courses, this tutorial and the tutorials that will be coming in the future weeks will definitely help you. Remember, you can always contact us at our 800 number or email us with any questions if you need help with any features on the site.